In this video, we're going to talk about compliance with your Google Ads account, how to keep your Google Ads account out of trouble, avoid suspensions, and just keep it clean so that you're able to run ads for a long time and not have your account suspended or have issues with a lot of ad disapprovals, etc. So Raf, what are some high levels of keeping your account clean?
I think the first thing you want to do is you want to create an MCC account. An MCC account allows you to have other accounts underneath you. It's similar to a Facebook Business Ads Manager. Why do you want to do that? If you have an MCC account and then you have an account, let's just say for product A, if that account gets suspended, then you can still create other accounts. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to protect yourself that way. The next thing you want to do is when you are launching campaigns in your accounts, aside from avoiding certain types of items that are forbidden, go through the ads policies of items that are forbidden, anything that has to do with arms, drugs, etc. You want to have disclaimers on your landing page. You want to have a full functioning site. And a full functioning site doesn't mean that you have to have a million articles. You want to have your about page. You want to have a way people can get in touch with you, either via email and or phone. You want to have disclosures, disclaimers, things of that nature. And the more touchy the topic, such as make money or anything related to money, such as financial returns, those things you want to have disclaimers a little bit bigger and towards the bottom a little bit bigger. Once you have those things, and you don't just have one website page that just sends traffic somewhere else, then you should be good. You should be able to pass the approval process. The next thing is you want to make sure that those accounts are clean. I know I've had this issue, for example, in e-commerce, where I purchased a domain and it was a brand new domain for me, but as soon as I uploaded it to Google Merchant Center, it was disapproved. And they told me there was no way around it. It was because of the domain. So whenever you do create a new domain, go back to the Wayback Machine, see if somebody else ever used it, and that way you avoid getting suspended that way. A third way of doing it, a popular way people get suspended is, for example, especially like with affiliate promotions, if they use a tracker, there's certain URLs that are already flagged. So if you use a certain type of tracker and you use that in the URL, you're most likely going to get suspended. So you want to avoid doing that type of thing as well.
Yeah, I find the URLs thing for sure. If you're sending them to a ClickFunnels subdomain, that can cause issues. I know Facebook doesn't like that, and I believe YouTube, Google also does not.
Yeah, I mean, and those issues, they're easily fixed if you get your own. A lot of these platforms allow you to add your own domain. So you want to do that, get your fresh domain. Once again, take the 5 minutes, 10 minutes that it takes to look back, Wayback Machine, or maybe even use, or even check out if the site is parked right now. And that way you see if there's an issue. Those are usually the ways that I've seen suspensions come about. A popular message that a lot of people get is suspension due to billing. So if you use a card that was associated with an account that was suspended in the past, more than likely you will get another suspension. So you want to avoid doing that. And sometimes you do get a suspension due to billing and you've done nothing absolutely wrong. Do not panic, do not freak out. Call them, speak with a representative, give them the explanation. They will, and if that person doesn't give you a solution right away, call again, but they will give you a solution, a way of proving that your account is legitimate, and they will unsuspend your account if you follow through on their process. Because I think the biggest thing with Google is that they actually tell you, hey, we suspended your account because of this, and they tell you the workaround. And I've gotten accounts unsuspended, so it's not the end of the world if that does happen. But if you take into account all those steps, you have the MCC, I try to keep one domain that I know I'm going to use. If you use various domains on an account, and for whatever reason you stop using another website, you want to keep that website, because at any point Google can come back and suspend your account because that website that you used to promote back then, all of a sudden doesn't comply with its policies today. And if you can't change something on that website, there's nothing that can be done. So if, let's just say you have an account and you have older domains on them, if you still have access to those domains, keep them. It's, yes, you gotta pay for the domain every year, whatever, but it's gonna be more costly down the road if you lose the account and it's an account that has a lot of information and is working for you for your current offer today.
Cool, so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the one thing I really want to touch upon is with Google, when you get an account suspension, as Raf said, you can call them up, they'll tell you why, and you can get it unsuspended. So there's a lot more clarity in the process. Now there's certain things that will get you banned forever, if you're doing black hat stuff, but if it's something like, hey, maybe your website needs to be, a common one is your website doesn't really look legitimate, so you need to add a blog, you need to add some contact us, make sure your privacy policy, terms of service are there, and have disclaimers. But usually once you fix that and they look at the website and it's a real website and not a thin website, which is what they consider just a landing page with nothing else, then it can work. And in many cases, even a landing page with nothing else, as long as the domain has everything, you don't necessarily need header links. You can have footer links, and just basically that will work. The main thing is just avoiding on the domain there's only that landing page and that's it, right? You want to show that you're a legitimate brand and there's something real there. Now the other thing I also wanted to quickly touch upon with Raf is ad disapprovals. Now how do you deal with ad disapprovals?
Ad disapprovals, so for YouTube ads, it's 24 hours. You make an ad today, you upload it. If it's a brand new ad, a video that hasn't been used, it usually takes around 24 hours before it's approved. If it's not approved within 24 hours, feel free to call them up and mention it. They'll escalate it to their team, and more times than not, it'll be fixed. In the event that it is not fixed and they tell you there's an ad disapproval, they'll give you the reasoning for it. Be sure to ask them exactly what it is that has to be fixed. You don't want to work on things that are vague. They'll be like, oh, misuse of representation. What does that mean? What do I need to do to change that? And once you make those changes, you follow up with them. They usually have an email chain with you, which you can follow up. You have a case number. And more times than not, it will be fixed. These things, I would say 99% of the time, there is a solution. They offer the solution, and it may take long, so you have to follow up with it. I've had situations resolved in one business day. I've had them resolved in a week. But the key thing is that you have to follow up, and there are ways of fixing it. Lots of times it's something on the landing page or missing a disclaimer on the ad. The good thing about YouTube ads is that Google is not as stringent as they are with search ads. Search ads are the hardest. They really look into that as far as disapprovals. But display and YouTube ads, they're a little bit more lax with. So as long as you don't say anything too crazy, and if you are in a niche where you talk about making money, returns, and things of that nature, have something that says something as simple as results aren't typical, or results may vary. Something of that sort should be fine.
Yeah, for example, Ty Lopez has a disclaimer that says, Ty is a professional marketer, results may vary, he has 10 years of experience with this, and that will show up for 20, 30 seconds, and then bam, and that's how they do it. So we found that just adding that often gets ads approved. And yeah, as the other thing is also on the ads itself, you want to make sure the call to action, are kind of clean. So maybe sometimes you'll get ads disapproved with that, right? If you have something in the call to action that triggers them. For example, they also have issues with trademarks. So if you have Amazon as text in the call to action, so it's like Amazon course in the call to action for them to click through, then that can cause issues. But if you talk about Amazon in the video itself, zero issues. So it's weird like that, if it's in text, they'll be like, nope, that's a trademark. But if you say it in the video, then it's not an issue. So that's also something we've noticed. So I think that pretty much covers it. Is there anything else you want to cover in that?
No, I think you follow the steps mentioned in this video, you should be more than fine. And
cool.
Yeah.
Cool, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you liked it, and also we have a YouTube ads course where we just go very in depth. Link below to check that out.
the ground, and we will talk with our head in the clouds, and we will walk